You gotta stop dehumanizing yourself and give yourself the grace of being human. See, at this current point in my life, I'm starting to realize that I and many others within my circle and people all around have tended to dehumanize themselves as a form of coping. And it's a very unhealthy habit that we must unprogram ourselves from doing, as it results in nothing but a excess of negative energy and pressure upon us. It's very unhealthy. And if you understand the concept of compression and energy, at some point, everything has a point where it will implode. And the thing that's going to be imploding in reference is you. You will implode, or you will feel so much pressure that it is unbearable, and you will be trapped inside of your own mental. And that is something that is not cool, and that is something that is not okay. You must find the ability to recenter and come back to the basis and foundation of the fact that we are human. And yes, that's going to be something that is very hard to accept. I'm currently learning to accept that fact. See, we tend to dehumanize ourselves in a multitude of ways, but the two most important ones that I feel the need to focus on are the ones that I'm currently dealing with at this moment. Is dehumanizing our expression of emotion due to the perception and reception of it, as well as the negative association of feeling as if you can't, or feeling as if you must do everything, and the fact that you cannot do everything. So when it comes to the emotion, we tend to dehumanize ourselves when it comes to that very harshly, especially when it comes to young men. That's a very big issue nowadays when it comes to men's mental health. But a lot of the times when we go through these things in life and we feel the abundance of emotion, or we feel in the extremes of emotion left and right, we tend to not be able to, and not necessarily not be able to, but you may feel as if that you can't due to the reception of it, or how someone's going to look at you of it, or how it's going to affect something in life. And yeah, to some degree you have to be worried depending on the setting or environment that you're in. But ultimately, what I've come to realize is that it's okay. A lot of the times we sit here and we feel an abundance of emotions and whatnot, or we're going through things in life, and that's just part of it. You're going to go through things in life, or people are going to do things to you, and you're going to feel some type of way. But a lot of the times we sit here and bottle it up, and once like I said, all you're doing by bottling it up is just building up pressure, and at some point you're going to implode. Or if you don't implode, you're just going to be stuck inside your own mental abyss, just dealing with the battle of a million emotions. That's honestly something that you're not going to be able to win for a while. It's going to take you a while to get out of your own mental abyss, dealing with your own emotion. Because once you may feel like you won it, but at some point all you've done is just cast them into a deeper abyss of your mind. At some point they're going to come back up and show up. And I've been there before. I've flashed out in anger before. I've done things sporadically out of my emotions before and whatnot. And it should never get to the point where you feel as if you can't express how you feel. It should never get to the point where you're so worried about the perception of others that you don't want to, or you can't express how you feel. It should never get to that, because at the end of the day, the same way that you have those emotions, I can guarantee your brothers and sisters to the right of you have those exact same emotions. And in understanding that, realize that it is normal and you are human. You have to get out of the mindset of feeling as if you can't, especially dealing with life. Because I'll tell you, life is going to teach you a lesson about this one right here every single time. The more and more you try to deny the fact that you are human, life is going to show you once again, time after time after time, obstacle after obstacle, that you are human. And sometimes you got to just sit back down and reflect inside of that. And I guess it's going to move more so. This will kind of help me gravitate toward the topic of feeling as if like you can't, or understanding that there are some things you can't. But digressing back a little bit more to the point of emotions, I've done it. Chances are you've done it as well. You shut down because you'd rather not deal with the outcome of expressing your emotions, or you're more so worried about how somebody else would feel, or how they would feel over your own feelings. These are things that I've learned are not okay. These are not healthy habits. And yes, to some degree, having the restraint over that is perfect, but understanding restraint is still not stopping you from being able to express. Restraint is just temporary. It's just halting for a minute, or impeding for a minute for you to deal with it or get loose later on. It should never just be a permanent restraint. As I said, we can hit the nail on the head 1,000,000 times. It will pop back up later on. But as you go through these different phases and different chapters inside of your life, like I said, you're going to be hit with obstacles, and you're going to be hit with different things that are going to make you feel an abundance of emotions. And a lot of the times we try to shut them out, and that is not okay. You are okay. it's completely fine to express how you feel and express how you think about things and all of this. So it is completely fine. It is normal. Realize that it is normal. Sit back and realize that it is not normal for you to compress all of these things up and hide them. Yes, to some degree, maybe practicing stoicism a little bit, yes, but at the end of the day, your feelings are still there as you're going through life. But understand that it is okay when it comes to the emotion and the expression. Find healthy ways in order to do it. Find outlets. I have a couple of outlets. This is one of my outlets right here that I'm starting to know, just using my voice and talking about things. You can go to the gym. You might have a friend. You might have hopefully within your environment or within your circle, you have people that you feel as if that you have the ability to express your emotions with and things of the sort. That is a very key and healthy thing inside of relationships, and I know I can do that within my friends, and I've done that a couple of times. Sometimes even they look at me kind of confused when it comes to me expressing things and whatnot. It's like, bro, like this ain't really the normal thing. Like they commend me on my ability to express and talk about these things. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel as if I'm making progress when it comes to my inner self-work. Understand that when it comes to this particular topic, you should never feel as if you cannot. When it comes to that, you should not. It is not okay for you to feel as if you cannot when it comes to your emotion, and you'd rather be boxed up. You can't sit here and internalize these things. You just can't do it. You just simply cannot do it, because all you're doing is just bottling up that problem just for it to roll back and explode on you later. That's all it is. It's all it is. Imagine your emotions as kind of like a bottle of soda, and you're just shaking it, and you're just shaking it and shaking it. What's inside is your emotions. You keep on shaking it, going through it, trials and tribulation, pressure builds up, and then eventually, when the seal cracks a little bit, or somebody cracks the seal on it, guess what happens? It explodes. So that's enough of that. In regards to the next topic of feeling bad when it comes to the pressure of feeling as if you have to do everything and having to accept the fact that you can't. Accept the fact that you can't. There are some things in this world that you cannot do, or you may not be able to do in this moment. You may need to level up or elevate yourself in order to accomplish it. That time, that's part of being human, is working on yourself and understanding that there are some things that you can't, and the things that you can't do, putting your faith within yourself and allowing that to bring you to a point where you can, or you end up accomplishing. It's okay. I've felt myself that I've had this mindset from a little kid that I've always kind of been like the chosen one, and it's like, if I don't, who will? If they don't, who will? And I have to get this done. If this doesn't get done, I must bear the. That's not healthy. That is not healthy. Like, yes, it's good to feel some degree of accountability when it comes to completion and success of goals, accomplishment, and these things that you're gonna go through in life, but you have to face the fact that there are some things that you feel like you can't do, and it's okay. And I don't want you to get comfortable, or I don't want to get comfortable in the fact that saying I can't. That's not a comfortable, and it's not a comfortable thing to say too much. I have too much of an ego, I guess, in regards to that, which I'm working on. But you shouldn't feel too comfortable in the ability to say you can't. But know that you have the ability to say that you can't, because you are human. You can't sit here and deal with the expectation of being all. We're not perfect. God didn't create us that way. You can't do everything. He can. You can't. And that's perfectly fine. So understand that as you're going through life, you're going to have some obstacles, or you're going to have some setbacks in these things, like I've mentioned before in previous videos, that you feel like you just cannot do, and it's perfectly fine, because you're human. All you can do is put that faith inside of yourself in the things that you can't do, and put your faith inside of God in the things that you can't do, and I promise to you, they will be accomplished. But don't let it eat you up. Don't get stuck in your own mental abyss at the thought that you can't. That is not healthy. That is not good. I've been there. I've been stuck in my own head, pacing around. How can I do this? How can I do that? I don't want to say that I can't, but then I realize I just might not be able to do it right now. I'm not going to let that eat me up. I'm going to figure out a way to do this. I say that to really hone into the fact that we dehumanize ourselves to the point where we think that we kind of have machine-like behaviors. We just do and kind of don't think otherwise, or we kind of make ourselves into like a machine of no emotion and just feeling as if we just have to complete tasks and go through this thing of life and just have to. But That's not how it goes, because time and time again, like I said, life will continue to show you in different stages, different phases, different storms, that you are human, and you must sit back and recenter and accept the fact that how you feel, the things you can't do, any of these different human characteristics, that it is okay for you to be. These things are not normal, and we've normalized them so much, and we've normalized them as a way of coping to get us through things and whatnot, because we're scared of the perception, or we're worried about the weight upon our shoulders, or the expectation of completion. But you can't do everything. It's all right. We're human. This is something that we really have to practice and get back to unprogramming ourselves in order to really get back to being human and relieving some weight upon our shoulders. We cannot continue dehumanizing our emotions to accommodate for people's perception, reception, and reaction of our feelings. The way that we feel is completely valid, and the way that we express is completely valid, as long as it's not harming anybody else or ourselves. I feel like we deserve to grant ourselves grace in that regard. You cannot continue to allow the weight of expectation and standards to be pressed upon your shoulders anymore, as there are some things that we cannot do, will not do, and should not do. And in regards for the things that we cannot do and feel as if we cannot do, all we can do is put our faith inside of that. And if he gives us strength and direction in order to complete those tasks of the things that we feel as if that we can't, then they will be completed. But apart from that, we can't continue to keep on putting weight upon our shoulders and dehumanizing ourselves, internalizing these things, and allowing the weight of the world to crush us on top of our own emotions. We're getting crushed internally. That's crazy, getting crushed internally. Like, we can't continue to beat ourselves up over these things. We're human. We are human. I'm working on that. We're working on that. Feel good, you're working on that. This might be the first step into beginning the journey of acceptance of that you're human. And you're working on that. Good. Give yourself that grace. You deserve that grace of being human. You deserve the grace of allowing yourself to be human. You deserve that. Don't beat yourself up over it trying to fight the fact. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to deal. You don't worry about the perception, reception, or reaction of others. It's okay. This is your journey. When you're going through life and you feel these different types of ways, or there's these different obstacles, and you feel the way you feel about it, and sometimes you may feel like you can't, or you're struggling right now, understand and sit back. Once again, you're only human and can do what you can do. Sometimes just sitting back and reflecting on yourself until you're ready to complete things, or when it's time for you to complete things, is okay. So I really hope that this resonated with you, and maybe you start relieving some of the stress upon your shoulders, and get rid of more so some of the expectations when it comes to outside or even internal expectations on yourself. Hopefully you can give yourself that grace. Like I said, I feel as if you are entitled to it. We all are entitled to that grace of feeling as if we're human. So it's okay. Life is a crazy journey, and it's going to put you through it, different emotions and different tasks and things that you feel as if you have to complete, and all of the things of the such. But accepting the fact that you're human really recenters you and allows you to decompress and relieve some of that stress upon yourself. So do it. You deserve to give yourself that grace. You're human. It's okay. Now, with that said, accept it and give yourself that grace. And remember this: one breath, one step, one day at a time. You gonna get through it. All right, you have a blessed one.